Oh shit, we're back with another Orchid Life. It's been a while.
It has been. It's hot in summer now, man. Last time I talked to you, what was it? Just before Halloween? It was fall here at Vandaland.
Yeah, guys.
Not anymore.
Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while, but you know,
busy. What can we say?
Yeah, life happens, and
Orchid
you know,
life happens especially.
I can't always be over here making fun videos. I have to actually make videos for real. But you know, we do these shows. I like to bring you people like Tony who actually know what the hell they're talking about. I get a lot of feedback from the audience saying, you know, do more interviews with more pros. If you guys can find me more pros, that would be great. I don't know anybody that can give you the information that this guy can or has the experience that this guy can. We've gotten a lot of BS from viewers for you throwing plants and this and that, and you're like, it's like the PETA for plant people. Okay, you gotta understand, I mean, it's a sick, dying plant. This guy's criteria for a good plant at his award-winning level might be different from your home grower who's never grown a good orchid, let alone seen a good orchid, and then all of a sudden thinks that they can bring everything back to life.
And I can tell you honestly, guys, if that's the type of person you are, just push the stop button right now. There's no point in you even watching me, because I'm not going to tell you. Exactly
he's not that kind of guy. For the people that love to like, all life must go on, and the plant's going to survive, and you like being that nursery. If that works for you, by all means, do it. But right now in my life, honestly, I'm striving for perfect plants. Okay. Tony said something that hit hard. He's like, you look at YouTube. You'll find people out there that act like pro growers, and you'll find people that actually are pro growers. You're probably not going to find too many people that are pro growers, but you'll find a bunch of people that act like pro growers. And I didn't want to fall into those act like wannabe type deals. So, you know, I've had my hardships over the last year in my own grow. A lot of stuff got kicked to the tree, got kicked out to the orchid tree, but I do have a lot of stuff that's solid. I've learned from my mistakes. I move on, and that's what we do. A wise man once told me, if you're not orchid killing, then you ain't orchid growing.
That's right. That's right,
and you know what? After 3 years of being around you, dude, and doing the thing, it finally hits home what that actually means.
Good.
So
Glad to hear that.
Enough of the YouTube crap. I don't really care about those guys. It cost me more in gas to get here than I'm actually going to make from any one of these fucking videos. So I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? You know, I don't care. Why waste the effort, you know? But, you know, there's probably like 2 or 3 of you out there that want to know something. So you'll put through with my rambling. You'll put through with my BS. And you'll get to the good stuff, which we're about to get to. So we're going to kick it right back to the start. You know, let's go back to fundamentals. Forget about nutrients. Forget about all the BS. Forget about the secret sauce. Forget about the ice cubes. Forget about all the shit that you've heard. The banana peels, the cinnamons, the everything. Somebody hit me with like 4 or 5 of those in a row, dude. And I'm like, what the hell, you know?
I saw one of those Fabulosa videos where they were showing where they put a cut off Phalaenopsis stem into a loaf of fried bread.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, anybody literally that listens to that.
There's an insanity out there of people that just think they know, and that's kind of what you have to figure out when you're growing these damn things. Is like, I say read the plant. Tony will tell you to read the plant, but nobody wants to read the plant. People want to tell the plant what to do. People want to push the plant. People want to feed it whatever it wants. You know, if I keep feeding you, and overfeeding you, you know, there's a million, and then people will say, oh, it's nutrient deficient. No, it's not nutrient deficient. You freaking, you killed the freaking roots, so now the roots aren't healthy enough to absorb any nutrients. So anyway, dude, it's real simple. I'm going to give you the secret sauce. Ready? The secret sauce. Hold on. Wait. Secret sauce is this. Plants use light and water. CO2
That's right.
and water to convert light into sugar. There it is.
That's how they grow.
The photosynthesis equation. So, in that equation, there is water, and that's the episode today. Welcome to water, okay, guys? Let's kick it down. It seems simple enough, but water chemistry can bring you right down the rabbit hole.
You know, and I'll tell you what, too, folks. I watch. I don't tend to watch too many YouTube videos, but I'm a member and also the moderator and admin of quite a few different orchid groups. And there's so many people out there that talk about water quality. And I can tell you, you need to be a scientist before you start talking about water quality, guys. Because here's the thing. Water is where it all starts for plants. the quality of the water, the pH of the water, the TDS of the water, where your water source is, and that varies all over the world.
No.
I'm in South Florida. South Florida tends to have a lot of high alkalinity in the water, and alkalinity does not mean alkaline. Alkalinity is the amount of calcium carbonate dissolved in the water. We're on a big limestone bed here, so most of the wells that are pumping up water, and also your raw water that's coming from your city, is going to have a lot of alkalinity in it. And one of the ways that you can combat alkalinity is by using a system that I use here at my nursery, which is called reverse osmosis. My entire nursery is on reverse osmosis. I've got a 35,000 gallon a day capacity machine that gives me all the crazy clean water that I want, because what I want to have is I want to have water that I can manipulate, because I like to manipulate my plants as well. And that's one of the ways that you can do it. When you're starting out, let's just say for the easy people here, when you've got your water at home, okay?
Real quick, I do want to go into the differences. And speaking of water, we're gonna get
raining in Vandaland.
We're gonna get rained on here. Awesome. So yeah, when I first started growing and I was doing real terrible, and I first met Tony, he's like, "Well, what are you watering with?" I said, "Well, you know, I collect rainwater because somebody told me the chlorine in tap water is bad for the plants." And right, after realizing this guy, the nano, you know, the tiny bits of ppm of chlorine and all that stuff that are in there actually help clean the root system. When you're giving it the RO system, when I'm giving it rainwater, I'm basically just giving the plants RO water.
This is for growing orchids and vandas in particular, all right? There's no soil on vandas, all right? So the only thing that's growing on them is bacteria, algae, fungus, mold, things like that. I wish that I could use city water out here in Loxahatchee, Florida. That would be the happiest day for me, because I wouldn't have to spend so much money on treating the water that I have to get it where I want it to be.
Now, that being said, there's
also
there's 1,000 different cities out there, and your city water might be different than my city water.
Get yourself one of these,
right?
A ppm and a TDS meter.
I found out after using, you know, I was like, finally got one of these damn things, and I've been using city water the whole time, you know, which I thought was giving back some micronutrients and stuff to the plant, but man, my water is super freaking clean, dude.
Sure.
I measured at 40 ppm, so
that's awesome.
Ever since then, I've been adding a little bit of calcium, magnesium to my water just to give a little bit back of nutrient into the plant, because I was basically stripping it.
You have to, anytime you're using RO water, like we're using here, you have to add back. So I'm going to minimize on the RO speech today, because that really is kind of next level stuff, and I don't want to bore you with that.
Right.
But what we are going to talk about is just plain old good quality water.
So before we get into too much chemistry and too much technical specifics, let's kick it down to just a basic level and review kind of what we just talked about. All right, so you can get a cheap little meter. You don't have to spend a bunch of money, or if you've got some
$1.75 online.
Yeah, if you've got some decent,
probably like
$75. You get yourself a decent TDS, EC, ppm, pH. I can read all of that stuff. Okay.
What these things are is, here's the thing. You ready? ppm is parts per million. That is the parts per million of all the dissolved solids in the water. That's calcium, magnesium, boron. Everything that's dissolved in your water is going to be read by a ppm meter. Okay. EC is a little bit more technical one. That's electrical conductivity. That's the amount of salt, fertilizer salts that are in your water, and what they're measuring is the nitrogen in your water. Okay, it's a special little thing that goes through, being it things off of the nitrogen, gives you a reading to let you know the strength of your fertilizer. I'm not even going to go anywhere, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. This feels great.
It does. It's hot as hell. It's about 100 degrees out here in Loxahatchee today.
At least. Okay?
Jesus Christ.
Your pH is your potential hydrogen. All right, that is in itself a very sophisticated type of a metering thing. But what you really want to make sure that you're keeping with any type of plants when you're watering is going to be, you want to be between 5.5 and 6.5 on your finished water. That's with your fertilizer nutrients. Okay, because I've got RO water, my ppm is going to be probably around 5 or so. I add back into my water as it's going through. It feels great.
It's the water episode,
That's
folks.
Right.
You guys asked for it. You know, there you go.
Waterproof.
Who gives a flying F?
That's right.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's all right. I add a little bit of calcium and magnesium back into my water when it's coming out of the filters, so that I get a baseline, which I'm going to show you right now. This is just my plain water in a bucket here. I got a gallon. Okay, it's telling me to wait. Okay.
I'm getting out of the rain, damn it.
Go ahead. See? I'm going down. I don't know if you can see, but I will come up and show you.
I'll work the camera.
I'm at about 6, and it's still coming down. I'm at 6.37. All right? I don't know if you can zoom in on that, Eric. See that? 6.37. Okay.
If you guys can't see it, just trust him, okay?
So 6.37. Okay. Now it's down to 6.34, and that's going to bounce around as different things happen to the water. Now what I'm going to test is I'm going to test the dissolved solids in the water. Okay.
TDS?
The ppm.
ppm?
Yep. And my ppm is right where I want it to be. Eric said his was at 40. Mine's at 60. All right, so that's the amount of dissolved solids that's in that water. 60 parts per million. Calcium, magnesium, boron, nitrogen, everything else, phosphorus that's dissolved in this water. If it's not dissolved, it's not reading.
Can I ask a quick question,
Sure.
just for my own personal knowledge,
Sure.
and everybody else listening now?
Sure.
For these plants, for these epiphytes, what you've seen for your typical Vanda, being the Vanda man,
Yeah.
if you're not giving them nutritive feeding and you're just doing an additive feeding,
Yep.
do you have a typical EC or a typical ppm that you're striving for? Do you find something that's too much? Have you found something that's not enough? Do you have a range in mind?
Typical rainwater is going to be around 4.5 to 5.
EC?
Right? Yeah, no, on your pH.
Right.
Your EC is going to vary depending on what you're feeding, and so that's even going to, guys, that's going to be a totally different episode because
Right.
that's very, very technical, and that's things that you want to read books for. I don't have the time to sit here and teach it to you. I'm just trying to teach you the basics of good water quality and what's going to happen when you have good water quality. All right, so we've already established that I have a pH of 6.4, so my pH is good on my rainwater. I've got a part per
ppm
million of 60. All right, that's going to give me enough buffering capability. Because what happens when you use rainwater, there's nothing in it to buffer the fertilizer you're going to put in your water. So as soon as you add something to it, the pH drops through the bottom. That's not what you want to have happen. Okay? If we watch now what's going to happen, now I'm going to take my little thing out, and I've got a teaspoon of fertilizer, which is about what I use in here per gallon per week. And I'm going to mix it up into this water. Okay? Give it a moment to relax. Okay? And now, I'm going to go back to my pH, so that you guys can see here. We were at 6.35, 6.4. Now, here we go. Look, now we're already down to 5.8. 5.8. We're coming into 5.7, 5.8, 5.81 is where we're at, okay? Remember I told you want to be about 5.5 to 6.5. So I'm about perfect right now. That means that my plants are going to suck up all this nutrition that I'm giving to them. There's not going to be any chemistry issues involving these things and not being able to take in what it is that they want to have, and you're going to be able to grow good quality plants. All right? I'll do just one more thing here so that you can see this here. Regular, good, purified water, not spring water. Spring water is going to have a lot of TDS in it because it's just basically spring water. It's coming out of a rock. Okay. All right. Let's do a little test on our pH here with this. Okay. Good old-fashioned purified water out of the bottle is 6.25. Okay, so now going down a little bit more. 6.1, 6.15, 6.1. Okay, so it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more acidic. The lower the number, the more acidic your fertilizer is, or your solution is. The higher the number, the more alkaline it is. The more alkaline that your fertilizer solution is, the more that your fertilizer is not going to be able to be used because the mineral nutrition is kind of locked out. All right, the more acidic you are, the more the nutrients going to be available. What the problem with that is that a lot of people don't understand is that you can actually poison your plants with too much fertilizer. That's another thing that goes on, and honestly, I can tell you that's one of the dumbest things I see people do is they think that if a teaspoon is good, then a tablespoon is better, and it couldn't be any farther from the truth.
Yeah, let's touch on that real quick. A great way to help you guys think about that, in my own opinion, and Tony can back me up if I'm wrong. But people kind of have the wrong mentality, and it's kind of like that Western philosophy of thinking where it's like, you can, you're going to cure something with a pill. You're going to cure something with this. Oh, my plant's not, I'm going to give it something to fix it. You're not going to give it anything to fix it, first of all. Second of all, there's 3 ways you can do this. There's not enough, there's the perfect amount,
That's right.
or there's too much. If you give it too much, the plant's going to die. If you give it the right amount, then you've given it the right amount. If you've given it not enough, then the plant's going to be fine. Eventually, you might see a nutrient deficiency, but if you're hitting 85%, if you're getting a solid B You know, if you're hitting 80% on the nutrient scale, and you've got the right light, you've got the right water, you've got the right airflow, your plants are going to be
happy.
1,000% better than your neighbors. I guarantee it, right?
I hear this a lot too. I hear, well, you know, nobody takes care of them in nature. That's true, but in nature, they're not in South Florida.
No.
They're not in Topeka, Kansas. They're not in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Right, they're not.
They're hanging where their natural place for Vandas is in South Asia, India, that type of area.
In nature, you don't have your hands around its neck trying to do.
I'm not trying to grow natural plants.
Right.
Here. I'm trying to grow perfect plants. All right, that's one of the biggest things that you got to understand.
So you guys will have, come back on over here. You guys will have, you guys all have your own individual grow setup, okay? You guys will have your own individual environments. After 20, 30 years of doing it, he's created this environment, which is perfect because he's worked on perfection the whole time, okay? Regardless of all of that, you need to know, and you need to know how to read your water and your feedings and your additives if you're going to create, you know, a predictable schedule or a repeatable schedule. You know, if you know what you put in your water and you see some kind of response in your plants down the road, then you can work with that. You know if you did a 700 ppm feeding of NPK and I burn the tips out of my roots and I burn this, then you better turn it down.
That's
you know,
right. You did too much.
So that's, hey, now you're finding your range.
Exactly. That's how I learned. I did not go to school for any of this.
And it's not going to be
all been trial and error.
It's not going to be the same range for him. It's not going to be the same range for me. It's not going to be the same range for you because there's a relationship between the amount of light the plant's getting and the amount of nutrients it's absorbing.
And it's requiring.
And the amount of magnesium and all that stuff. So if he's got, X amount of light and X amount of airflow, his plants are requiring X amount, and yours can be a little different. So we can't go off of what he's using, can't go off of what I'm using. You have to pay attention to what you're using, record it, and repeat it, and that's what these meters, the RO water, that's what all that's for, so we can control the variables.
If you wanted to have, because I know a lot of people want to know, what is something that I can do that's just basic, easy, keep it simple, stupid type of thing. Number one, use a good balanced fertilizer. I like to use a product that's called Dynagrow. I do not work for Dynagrow. It'd be nice if they'd sponsor me on Orchid Life so that I can get some of their free products. But the thing about Dynagrow is it's just awesome stuff. It's fully chelated nutrients. It's a liquid form, which is already miscible inside the water. It's ready to go into the plants. The plants love it. They suck it up. They do what they need to do, and it's balanced. There's a lot of these plant foods out there that, I don't care what university did studies. It's in practicality, it doesn't work. It's like one of those things that's different on books. It feels good. The fans just came on. It works on paper, but it doesn't work in real life.
But now,
use a Dynagrow formula, 795. Okay, 1 teaspoon in a gallon of water. That's going to get your pH where you want it to be. All right, your EC is going to be right where it's supposed to be for growing this type of plant. All right,
and you're only doing that once a week, every fourth or fifth watering.
Once a week.
Feed, water, feed. And in the winter, drop it because they're not.
You have, the more food that the plant's going to require. The less light that you have, the less food it's going to require. That's why in the winter, I do it at a teaspoon a gallon, and one time a week. And in the summer, I do it at a teaspoon a gallon 2 times a week, just to give it a little bit extra when they're doing it. All right, that's going to get you a good baseline of where it is that you want to have your plant's nutritional regimen be on. And you can see, looking behind me, these plants look pretty freaking happy. They just got a little afternoon spritz. I don't like to do a heavy afternoon spritz. I know it looks like this, but I'm sweating like a pig back in here.
Just to cool them down.
Yeah, just to cool them down, to cool me down, add some humidity back to the air. We are in South Florida, which is a pretty humid place, but on a hot day in the middle of the summer, if it's not going to rain, like today is not a rainy day, you're going to want to cool the plants off just a little bit to get those those roots perked back up again and ready to do their nighttime thing, which is where the magic actually happens with growing these vandaceous plants when their metabolism is kicking into high gear.
Everything's going to kick down into the roots.
The carbon dioxide exchange with oxygen, and et cetera, et cetera. But seriously, Dynagrow, teaspoon a gallon. Do it. You're going to get good results.
And err to the lesser side. Don't sit there and say, "Whoa, if I'm going to," do not be the guy who just starts dumping newts into a freaking box and then starts spraying that shit all over your plants. Even if you don't burn them right away, you're going to get in the habit of doing that, and you're going to train your plants to be abnormal, and then they're just going to have problems down the road. So, like I said, If you're getting a B plus, dude, you're passing. If you're getting a C, you're passing. If you're trying to get 150%, you're going to kill them.
Vandamaniacs if you want 150%. Vandamaniacs on Facebook. That's where I'm going to really teach you how this thing goes down. And
yeah, you'll see some of the pro growers on there that'll make you just wonder how the hell they did it.
You'll look at other groups and be like, man, what are these people doing wrong? Look at these plants have no roots. They're missing half their leaves.
So the difference...
You'll see my people that have got full plants, full of roots, full of leaves, full of flowers. That's what we're after, guys.
The difference is the people that have been doing it at that level have known about this for 10, 20 years and have been doing it this way for 10, 20 years. Everybody else is just kind of getting on the boat, or some people don't even know what any of this means, and they're just figuring it out, you know? So here's the help, you know, here's the jump start that nobody gave me, and you can start to grow. You'll start to see healthy roots. You'll start to see healthy growth. You'll be able to control what your plants are feeding, what your plants are, you know, what additives you're giving them. Once you get it under your thumb, you'll see that the plants are going into their bloom cycle, so you might switch over a little PK,
sure, yeah,
or, you know, they're going to grow, so you'll get a little nitrogen.
Anticipating flowers. You don't want to do it all the time, or you're going to stunt the growth of the plant.
Right. And the other thing, you know, you got to remember is that, you know, NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, those are your nutrients. There's other things that are additives that we kind of give these plants from time to time that are not nutrients.
That's what's good about the Dynagrow is it has 17 major, minor, and macronutrients inside of the formulation. So it's giving your plant everything that it wants, and then a little bit some. I talked to Eric a little bit earlier today. We just got a shipment of 4,000 plants in, so I got to get my little behind back to work. But I told Eric today, I said, you know what? We are in absolutely full swing of growth right now.
Yeah, that's another reason why I wanted to come up here. I've been talking to you for 2 weeks. This is my favorite damn place, dude. So thanks for watching the water episode and watching my boy get soaked here. He's got to take care of literally 2,500 plants that came in from Thailand that people are sorting out and starting to get a little confused. We're going to break here. Stay tuned. We're going to do a walkthrough of this beautiful facility. Tony's going to show you some of his premier specimens, so all of my plant lovers that are just looking for some plant porn, he's going to be here showing you all this good stuff, and then we'll look at the shipment that he's got in once he's got it all organized, and we can go over some of the other stuff just for fun, because that's basically what we like to do here. And if your plants are going to shit, you're not having fun, and if you're growing crazy ass plants, then you're going to be with the rest of the people growing crazy ass plants and having fun. So
that's right.
Thanks for watching, thanks for putting up with us, thanks for listening to my rants. Have a great one. Yeah, I'll put a link to, you know, if you've got some deep pockets and you want to be technical like Tony, you want the nice one, you can get that. I have my other one over there. You want to grab that for me real quick, boss? And I'll put the links to these up there so you can just go on Amazon and find one and grab yourself one. Go, get your ass to work, boy. Honestly, it's simple. It's an easy way to meter your feeders and make sure everything's running properly. Thanks a lot, guys. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. If you don't care. Still love you. Have fun growing. Take care.
Walk with his angels, feed a tree. Darkness nearly drowned me. Sunlight low, don't it burn my eyes? Darkness nearly drowned me, and the sunlight low, don't it burn my eyes? This valley is much too deep, and this mountain so very high. Well, my cup is nearly empty. I got such a long, long way to go. My cup is nearly empty. I got such a long, long way to go. I got to lay down here and rest before I can take another step down that lonesome road. Where the darkness nearly drowned me, the sunlight burned my eyes. This valley is much too deep, and this mountain so very high. I gotta lay down here and rest where I can take another step down this lonesome road. Well, my cup is nearly empty. I got such a long